Hi, we've just received our sample panel and I've been playing around with it a little bit today, and I must be honest, I'm quite impressed. The construction is an aluminium alloy housing. We opted to bring in the first few samples with the adapter bracket so that you can mount it on a turnstile or on a floor stand or something of that nature. The unit has got a reasonably good picture quality, it's sufficient lighting, and it reacts very, very well. I think I'll just demonstrate it. It's the easiest way to see the unit in action. Right, I'll start by first demonstrating the unit without the face mask, so you can see the face mask alarm and the temperature reading, and then I'll redo it wearing the face mask. Now bear in mind that I've loaded myself as a user, so if the access control was working, it would recognize me and allow me through. If I was just a visitor coming onto the premises, it would take my temperature, see if I'm wearing a face mask, and then allow me in. But it obviously wouldn't activate a turnstile or an electric lock or anything of the nature. Right, here we go.
Please wear your face mask. Pass. Pass.
Right, the unit dims the lights if there's nobody in front of it, which is quite convenient. To tell you a little bit more about what I've been able to detect as I've gone through the unit, this is essentially the reading area where the face of the person coming in will appear. This is the forehead area where the temperature is read. This is the area where it'll give you the temperature readout. So essentially we've got a unit that does facial recognition for access control. It can also be used with proximity cards. It does temperature reading and it does mask detection. So it'll give you an alarm if the person's not wearing a mask, and it'll give you an alarm if the temperature's out of the norm. Those are all options that you can set when you set up the unit. So don't think of the unit only as a tool for this COVID period that we live in. It's a unit that can be used post-COVID as well. And that's essentially it. I think what I'll do now is take you through the software very briefly so that you've got an idea of how easy it is to manage and to configure. Right, so here we are. The unit comes with a little CD that has the access control software. It has a little IP detector application and an operating manual, which will take you through setting up the software in the unit. It's actually very, very simple. We'll now take a closer look at the software. I've already installed it on the laptop, and I'll take you basically through the different modules very quickly. Right, so here we go. Once you've connected the computer and the panel to the network, you have on the top right hand corner a button that allows you to connect the device. So pushing the connect button, the software will go out and find the unit and connect it so that you receive the information on your computer screen. You've essentially got five menus down the side here. The first one is the real-time monitoring or real-time mode. And what this does is that every person that goes past the panel will appear here in sequence, one by one as they walk through, and it'll give you a temperature reading. So if you've got somebody sitting in a reception or a guardhouse monitoring the people as they come through, any temperature alarms will be visible to him here, besides the audio alarm that is given to the person when they walk through. If he's just a visitor, you won't get any information because obviously the system doesn't know his name, doesn't know who he is. If it's somebody that's logged into the system, like an employee, then you'll get the person's name and employee number and whether he's male or female, and it'll do a comparison in terms of the similarity of the person that was identified and that which is kept on database. And it'll record the temperature. So these will be the readings for all those people that are already lodged onto the system. Right, the second menu allows you to manage the users on the system. So let's imagine you want to add somebody on. You would come here and hit the add button, and you'd get the person to stand in front of the panel, and then you take a snapshot of him and you'd fill in all the details relating to that person. And here you'll have a summary of everybody that's on the system. You can import these, you can export them, you can sync from the unit to the software and from the software to the unit. And this is where you would manage basically your users. The third menu is basically a search menu. So what do we want to do? Let's say we want to go and check on everybody that's come through within a particular date or time range. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and what does this do? This gives you the person's name, the day and time, their temperature reading, and whether or not they were wearing a mask. So some were and some weren't. Okay, and then they were recognized and allowed through, or not recognized and not allowed through. Your fourth menu also allows you to do a search and to export visitor records, for instance, to Excel. If you want to download a list of everybody that's been on your premises or through your premises in a particular date range. So there we go. So this was before I was logged in as a user. I was a visitor. It says a visitor, day and date, time, and whether I was wearing a mask or not. So if we go down through these, it gives me a full listing of everybody that came through. Okay. And these I can export. Right, and the final menu is essentially a menu where you configure the parameters of the panel. In other words, how often do you want it to capture images? What is the snap picture quality rating that you want? That goes from 0 to 1, and so on and on. Okay. The percentage accuracy on the face reading that you'd like it to consider as minimum. You can set things like the distance for reading, the temperature, or the face recognition. We've got it set at 1 meter. And it's also through this menu that you will do things like software upgrades and that type of thing, and set parameters. So yeah, you can actually decide if you want to activate things like a face recognition relay, face recognition voice broadcast, mask detection switch, a mask associated relay. So you're able to configure the system so that based on whether you're wearing a mask and whether your temperature is right and whether the unit recognizes you or not, so it will allow you in the case of you having some form of barrier to stop the person from coming in. If all you're worried about is reading temperature and generating an alarm or not letting the person through, you can set that here too. So as you can see, it's a very straightforward, very simple system to use, and serves a very important function at the moment, where everybody's concerned about not letting in people that have got a high temperature and possibly are ill, but it can be used post-COVID to do your normal access control. Well, that's all I have to say, and thank you for your time. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you.